Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are doing well. In today's session, we are going to talk and learn how to design and implement Azure hybrid networking using Azure Virtual WAN. Uh, by the end of this video, let me just quickly bring that up here. All right, so by the end of this video, uh, we'll understand this what is Azure Virtual WAN, what is Virtual Hub in Azure, and why organizations use Virtual WAN architecture. And, uh, and finally, we'll perform a hands-on lab where we'll create a virtual WAN and we'll create a virtual hub and connect a VNet, which is existing right now that I have created, to the hub. So we'll perform that. All right. My name is Faz, and let's get it started now then. All right. So before jumping into the Azure portal, let's first understand traditional networking design and a real customer requirement and challenges. So imagine a multinational company with multiple branches office like you can see here, say for an example, New York, London, or like Singapore, Australia, Mumbai. And when we retrospectively talk about the traditional network, every location might require a separate connection, and creating a separate connection, creating and leading to a complex mesh network topology. As the company in future grow, managing multiple VPN gateways and routing policies and connections become more complicated and challenging to manage, and way more for the organization costly as well. However, with virtual WAN in Azure, Microsoft recommends in those scenario to use a hub and spoke model. This is where Azure Virtual WAN becomes extremely useful. So he, let's quickly cover that. Uh, so Azure Virtual WAN is a Microsoft managed global networking service that provides a centralized hub and spoke architecture for connecting branch offices, your Azure VNets that you have within Azure, remote users, uh, express route circuits, and the VPN connections. So instead of manually configuring many individual network connections, Azure very smartly, this Azure Virtual WAN allows you and the customer to connect everything to the centralized hub. All right, so now as we learned about the virtual WAN, the question is, what exactly is a virtual hub then in Azure? So this virtual hub, now we can see here, is the core component inside your virtual WAN in Azure. You can think of it as a central router in Azure. It provides basically the routing, VPN gateway services, express route connectivity, and site to site, point to site VPN access. So it basically and allows you basically connecting any VNet that you have to establish a communication. So all traffic follows through this hub in Azure. Instead of creating direct communication between every network like traditional, all networks connect to the hub, making management much easier for your organization. All right, so if I move on to the next slide here, you can see this hub and spoke architecture. So hub in Azure acts as central router connecting branch offices, your VNets in Azure, express route and remote users. So here you have like your hub, which is connected to your VNets, your on-prem environments, and the users connecting to the centralized, the hub that you have created. So with that, now let's move into the practical implementation. We'll perform these tasks as we did discuss, create a virtual WAN and create a virtual hub in Azure, and then connect the VNet to the hub. So let's get back to the Azure portal. So give me 1 second. Great. Now here you can see the Azure portal. This is your let's quickly verify the VNet that we have created here, since we'll be using this VNet to connect to the WAN hub. So I've already created. Let me zoom in a bit for. All right, great. So here you can see my VNet that I have created in South India. And this is the location, this is the region. Now, what I'll do, I'll go and search for the virtual WAN. That this would be the first thing we create as per our. Uh, this is the first task that we have, virtual WAN. So let's go ahead and create that. Here you can see left side virtual WAN and virtual WANs. So it gives you an option to create. So let's click on that. And now it would need you to go and pick the resource group. And since I'm going to create in Central India, and the VNet that I have is in South India, that I'll connect. Okay, so I'll give a name here. Let me just pick a name. I have already, so I'll just do a copy and paste here for the name. So I've given name my virtual van hyphen Central India, just to be a little identical. Uh, and I'll click on review and create. So once we click on review and create, it goes through the validation that you see on the top extreme left, then has gone successful. So simply go and click on create to start the creation. So here we are creating the global networking uh, container that will host our hubs that we as we go will be creating in future for and all the networking connections. So deployment may take a minute or two. Once completed, we'll move to the next one. All right, great. So this has been completed now. We can simply click on go to resource to go to the uh, created van that we just deployed. And now under connecting, so it looks good. And the status you see here, it's successful, and it's in central India right now. So now we'll be creating a central routing hub that will handle connectivity between all the connected networks. So here you see under connectivity left side, you see hubs. So just click on this, and then it allows you, it gives you an option here, new hubs. So you can click on it to create a new hub. Right? And so we are going to create this in South India. So this is already selected, so we are good here. And I'll simply copy a name since I have already selected a name. So what I'll do here, my virtual WAN hub hyphen South India, and then you'll have to give IP space address. So let me just give me the address here. 10. I'll give 10 0 0 slash 24. This address that I would be using. So let's quickly cover, like, this hub address space is used for in your hub for hub routing infrastructure, like, the VPN gateways IPs, express route gateways IPs, your Azure firewall subnets. So this address space is not used by your workloads. It is used only by the hub's internal component. And since it's for the testing, so I'll just pick this one, and I'll leave the rest uh, uh, as default, and I'll move on to the next site to VPN. So I'll just leave default no. This site to VPN option is only for connecting your on-premises branch location. If you have physical router, your like, WAN devices, offices, and data center to this virtual WAN hub. So I'll just leave it no, since I'm gonna connect existing uh, Azure VNet, so I do not need it. So I'll simply click on next. I'll move on with the default setting. So I'm good here. I can simply click on review and create, which is gonna quickly do the validation. Here we can see the validation is successful. This is something which is very important. If the validation does not go successful, then you will have to revisit your settings, make the changes, see where the problem is, fix it, and then again run the validation and make sure the validation has gone successful, and then move on to create the resource in Azure. So I'll click on create here to initiate the deployment of this hub. Let this job start deploying. And it's really important to mention here one thing: the hub address, the address space that I have used. Always make sure that has to be unique and should not be lapping with any connected virtual networks that you are gonna connect right now, or that you have in your plan for future connect. So now we see on the top right side here, this deployment is in progress right now. So Azure is now deploying the virtual hub for us here, and this process can take several minutes because Azure is creating routing infrastructure uh, uh, in the back behind these scenes, right? So I expect that generally what I have noticed, it takes somewhere like, 15 to 25 or 30 minutes. So I'm going to pause this video and I'll get back once it's complete. Once it's complete. All right, so I'm back again. And now you can see here the deployment for WAN hub has been successfully completed. And here it shows like now your deployment is complete. And if you see right side under notifications, you see it took almost like 7 minutes to complete this deployment. So it was pretty quick this time. And if you remember, I did not select like site to site VPN. Uh, deployment. So which again, like can be the cause it has completed, like quick. Generally when you go and do with like those VPN site to site creation, then it takes slightly longer. So behind the scene, Azure has provisioned a routing service in this hub, uh, connectivity services and gateway infrastructure uh, for your Azure network and the transit functions. So this becomes the central point through which all connected resources will communicate in future. So now the next would be, let's quickly look at like what we have. So we created the Azure WAN. We have created the Azure Virtual Hub as well, and now the task that we have to connect our VNet to the deployed hub. So let's get back to the Azure portal now. What we'll do, we'll go to the this WAN hub. I'll close this notification. So by establishing this connection, the VNet becomes the part of the virtual WAN topology and can leverage the centralized routing through the virtual hub. So let's just wait for a quick second while it brings that up. It's running a bit slow. Let me just refresh the page and uh, and just bear with me. And all right, so we are back to this virtual WAN that we created. We'll go to the WAN hub that we just have deployed and created. All right, this is the hub that you see, and even your status, hub status shows succeeded. So we are good here, and we'll simply click on this WAN hub, and everything looks good here. All right, so now we can see the status and every information for this created WAN hub that looks good. So let's get back to the uh, yeah, virtual WAN. Okay, now under connectivity, you see the option virtual network connection. So let's click on that since we need to connect the VNet, the virtual network, which is in South India. All right, and now here you see on the top, add connection. So we'll click on add connection here. And now we need to give name here. So I already have name here. So let me just copy that name, paste here. And it's talking about basically the hub. So hub we have here, subscription, it's already there. Resource group, so well, give the resource group name and the virtual network, my VNet, which is in South India, uh, that uh, that we need to connect to this hub, and connection type, connection policy. Sorry, we'll just leave it like a default here, and propagate no. We go with like no the I'm fine with rest of as default. Great, and now I can simply click on create, so to start the uh, creation. So once it's once it's completed, then the traffic can be routed through this virtual hub for the VNet. So it's gonna take a couple of minutes time. We'll just wait for this task to complete. Here on the top right side, you see the task which is going on, adding peering. So let's just wait. I'll just pause the video and come back once it's completed. All right, so I'm back here, and now on the top right side, you see the task has been completed successful. So I'll just close it. And here, if you look at, I just refreshed. So if you look at like, the virtual network connection, and it shows it's successfully connected to this VNet. And if you go right side, you see the status like, succeeded, and it's connected. And even if you from here, it shows like, connected. And even if you go to the VNet that we have just configured and connected to this WAN hub, uh, let's quickly validate from there as well and see if it shows something and talks about this VNet is connected to this WAN hub. So let's quickly validate from the VNet as well. All right, so here you can see the VNet that we have. Let's go to the VNet. And here under settings, you see peerings. So just click on that, and it should show like this is connected and successful. Let's just give a couple of seconds time. Great. So we can see here under peerings, it shows like, connected and fully synchronized. So it looks all good. So we have covered everything that we had here, and like, creating a virtual WAN, creating virtual hub in Azure, and then finally connecting the existing VNet to hub. So like, if you talk about customer use cases for this, like say for an example, you have global enterprise customers uh, who has like, multinational company, can create hub in different Azure regions and provide optimized global connectivity. And same like disaster recovery situation scenario, organizations can quickly connect DR environment and maintain connectivity between primary and secondary regions. Some of what I have seen, like hybrid cloud setup as well, companies migrating from on-prem data center to Azure can use this virtual WAN for centralized management of VPN and the express route connections. So that's it for the for this today's lab. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in next one. Till then, take care and have a good day.